Let's talk about money stuff now. The 3 categories: everyday spending. So tomorrow, if you do not have a spending plan, what if you woke up and even if you did it this coming weekend, you've got to get a spending plan from day one. I was talking to someone the other day. They were in their late 30s and still only had one bank account. I mean, it blows. Also, do what you want, but it just blows my mind that in this day and age with the options of different bank accounts and structures, that you just do not need one bank account. You could be really good with money and have that one bank account, and each year it just increases and you see all that stuff. But you need to know when you quarantine your spending account, when you quarantine your savings and all that, it will give you a level of peace and certainty and control. And for the savers out there, you sometimes need permission to spend. So having a spending plan system with different accounts, this account here is just for my everyday spending, you have permission to spend. Another thing that I've learned along the way, and I would encourage you to, you might need to build up to this, you might not, is where possible, pay your bills annually if they give you the option to, if it's cheaper to. I was talking with someone the other day and they had the money, but they were still paying their bills monthly for the psychology cash flow part. But when you look back, well, I'm paying 10% more to pay this monthly. It's just, you just don't do it. It's literally cheaper to pay yearly. Now, some things I do pay monthly, my health insurance, whether they take the money yearly or monthly, they charge the same. So for those who might be new to all this, have a look at the car insurance. You know, if it's $125 a month to $125 times 12, that will give you the annual number. If you look on the website where it says annual cost, that should be cheaper than the multiple of the 12, okay? It could take a bit to get to that, but if you've got heaps of money in the bank account, you should look at paying your bills annually because you'll actually save money. This one here, it is a bit scandalous, if I may. You cannot get true prosperity from expense cutting or cutting out stuff. Yes, you can save money. Yes, I can pay my bills annually. Yes, I can optimize my spending and look at all my phone plans, my insurance plan, everything. I can get frugal and shop at Aldi. I can do all this stuff and you will save money, but it's not your golden ticket to financial freedom and prosperity. It will help, absolutely, but it will cap out. So that's why you need to just fully understand you need to focus on the big rocks in your life. In our financial life, the biggest rock you have is your income. Focus on that. Obviously, do your spending plan. Obviously, optimize and all that, but you'll get the most financial wins and financial gains and future prosperity by focusing on your income, not paying too much for a house or rent relative to your situation and when you can. Your car, a lot of you have too much car and you just don't need that. Who you're with, kids. So you just focus on the big rocks and then look down at each one. So I'll say that again. You cannot get true financial freedom and prosperity from saving $3 a week on not having coffee one day a week. But you can have full financial prosperity in the future if you decide I'm happy to drive around a $10,000 Corolla and invest that $250 a week or a month or whatever the payment would be if you had a really expensive brand new car, okay? And also, take this for what you can or will or want. I don't mind. I'm just throwing all this stuff. You're going to have thoughts about things that you can wake up tomorrow in your financial life and change just from listening me crap on about this list, and make your own thing up. I'm just seeding the thoughts. I want you to really, when it comes to your spending plan, focus 100% on values, then within that, needs and wants. Oh, but Daddy, I really love him. I love that t-shirt. what I want you to do is any type of decision that you need to make, try and remember, does it align with my values? Do I value buying a mountain bike and going mountain biking? Absolutely. Awesome. I'll buy the mountain bike. Within that category, is this a want or a need? Now, we do need a mountain bike to go mountain biking, but we're only a year in and we're just getting started. Well, let's buy a cheaper one to start with and not be the person with all the gear, no idea, and just kind of ratchet up. I've been guilty before of going full ham and buying all the stuff, just getting started, and it's a waste of money. Even if it is within that value category, just be very conscious when it comes to the big 5 rocks that we talk about, your incomes. Well, I would say that's a need. You need your income. Your housing. I shared recently on the podcast, I moved from a house that was $1,000 a week to $700 a week relative to my world, my location and all that. I resolved that that was a bit of a luxury that I didn't need. It was a 4-bedroom bloody house with a big yard. Freaking all the rooms were empty. I'm like, what am I doing here? So I readjusted and looked at the needs. And the needs was I needed an apartment or a place to live, but I didn't need to spend the extra premium because guess what? I'll survive. So wants and needs. Car, that's a big one. You'll get wiped out if you get wanty with your cars. Amen, that's me. And that's why for me, I just pay cash for cars. I don't have car loan. I've got a mortgage and all that. And sure, on paper, things can look better on paper. There's the textbook way of doing it, which would be if you've got a mortgage and you're in debt, the textbook says don't pay cash for the car. The textbook says get a car loan, lower interest rate, keep that cash in the mortgage or invested, and you get the spread and it's all good. The textbook says that. But you get a freaking lump of flesh like this holding the textbook and he gets cute and does dumb things like buys too much car. So for me, I just buy a car with cash, even though the textbook says to not do that. I was listening to a YouTube thing the other day, and watching on YouTube rather, and if you haven't already, you can subscribe to our YouTube. This episode is on YouTube, full video, and it was a pilot. I was looking at, pilot reacts to, all those horrific accidents and whatnot. And at the end, this stuck with me. The guy said, remember, superior judgment trumps superior knowledge. Just remember that. Superior judgment trumps superior knowledge. So I can have all the book smarts in the world and know that, well, if I get a car loan and, have that money invested over there and, get the spread and it's cheaper and it's all good, awesome. That's knowledge. But superior judgment says, well, I could actually spend more and go down a slippery slope there. So for me, you've got to know who you are. The last kind of money housekeeping thing for the first part was get your insurance sorted. The big rock in your life is your income. You've got to get income insurance to make sure if that income stopped due to accident or illness, that you would still have money walking through the door. Look at these big rocks. We've got our income, we've got our house, we've got our car. We insure our car, we insure our house, we insure our contents, we insure our health, but we don't insure our ability to get out and earn that income. Let's talk about investing. I've never met an Aussie who is over 50 who didn't wish they added more money to their super years ago. I want you to ignore the online crap that says don't invest in super because you're going to retire early and you're going to need to access that money. Maybe. Most people, most of the time, they do not retire early because guess what? You need purpose, you need something to do, and a lot of people that want to retire early end up retiring early from the workforce, and then they say, oh, now I want to do my passion, which is this small business. Just freaking do the small business now and have stuff in your life, have purpose. Do that. You'll make more money, dialing down on your strength and your passion, which is the small business thing. Don't wait until you've accrued all this money, then start drawing down. You'll be fine. If you're like, oh, Glenn, I save $1,000 a month. I'm not putting $1,000 a month into super. Okay, don't. Do what you want. But can you say, well, okay, there could be some logic in what this guy's saying, so I'm going to put 20% in or 30% or half of it into super. But I can guarantee you I've never, ever, ever met a client who's come into my office, anyone online is about to retire, who does not admit to saying, I wish I did more into super earlier on. I was contributing extra, not heaps, just a little bit, into my super in my 20s. You're allowed to do that. It's crazy. Oh my gosh. Set up a little contribution, salary sacrifice. You will not miss it. I want you, and this is like the whole investing thing as well, I want you to wake up tomorrow and focus on your main thing. Your main thing isn't your freaking $1,000 investing app portfolio. Your main thing isn't your 50K little portfolio in your own name of ETFs. Your main thing isn't your $300,000 super balance or your $100,000 super balance. Your main financial thing is your income. You've got to focus on that. You are an expert at hairdressing, you're an expert at barbering, you're an expert at doing signs, you're an expert at painting, you're an expert at graphic design, you're an expert at plumbing, you're an expert at butchering, you're an expert at candlestick making, you're an expert at baking, you're an expert at project management, you're an expert at being a receptionist, you're an expert at being a barista, you're an expert at being a barrister. What you do for most of your day for work, you are an expert in or are fast becoming an expert in. Just set up a portfolio, focus on what you're good at, and shovel money into your share portfolio. Keep your eyes off it, keep your mitts off it, get a one-stop shop investment, and just pump it. You're not a fund manager, believe it or not. You're not an ETF manager. You're not a strategic asset allocation consultant. I live in this money world every freaking minute of my life. And I don't focus on my investing. I focus on my core main thing. What about that? Now, in this investing thing, what if you said, if I could rewind to when I first got a job and got into the habit of putting some money every single day into my investment account or my super account, and I want to do it from tomorrow, can you look at your calculator, put your weekly salary in, times 5% equals X. Can you start by doing 5% a week and still make things happen? Can you flip your budget over? So we do a top-down budget. It gets harder the more you have expenses and kids and all that hanging off you. A top-down budget means income comes in, then all our expenses, then at the bottom is what's left over. So can we do it? Income comes in, investment comes out, then we spend the rest. The bottom-up budget that we kind of teach for people that are already kind of strapped into the world and all that is we go the bottom up. So we look at all the expenses we've got, then we say the income, and then we find the difference because it's a little bit easier when you're starting budgeting to do a bottom up. And then once you do your bottom up, you go, okay, I've got this much coming in. These are all my expenses. I've got X amount left. Then you need to optimize that X amount left. So can you be really radical and go from tomorrow, I'm even just doing 1% of the household income into super, into investments. I don't care. I know I was getting a bit out of control with the investing in super because you probably won't retire early because it's really fun and excellent when you see people in their 20s that don't have kids yet on Instagram and TikTok saying, I don't invest in super because I'm going to retire early. You haven't had kids yet. You don't have a full vibe of everything happening yet. I'm please, at me and prove me wrong. There will be the odd outlier, but most people, they will actually not retire early. but also don't care, do what you want. Okay, and finally the other thing, nice cars. I've learned nice cars doesn't mean people are successful. You out there, you've just got the brand new car. Congratulations on that loan. You're just so successful. You got approved for a $30,000 loan. Congratulations. I'm shaking in midair here. So that's kind of what I've learned. The real wealth that people have you can't see. Wink. And that's why, like, people have always Googled, like, Glen James net worth and all that stuff. My net worth is none of your business. It's private. How about that? Because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Two last things. Japanese cars are worth it. Seriously. I recently bought that Volvo and I love it. It's fun. It's awesome. Got rid of the Japanese car, into the Volvo, went over a pothole, dented the rim, took it to a tire place. He's like, yeah, the Euros, they're just not as strong in the rims and it's a 19-inch rim and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, one of the other rims has been welded and repaired. I'm like, why did I go to Europe? I should have just stayed in Japan. So that's kind of my thing is I'd rather a second-hand Japanese car than a brand new any other car. Straight up. Don't get lured in by this 7-year warranty for this MG that's 20 grand. They're pieces of crap.